Sometimes we make the right decision, and sometimes we make the decision right. My name is SOSEFINA, and this is my cousin Malia. I'm more reserved, and she's the life of the party. We let the universe determine the path we take, but everyone has a choice. Some we regret, some we're proud of, but you know what? At the end of the day, it has to be your choice. This is my story.
Yeah! One day, when I have a lot of money, I'ma be the king of damn sipping.
But our people is too damn scared of the real world.
Like the spit, take a rip, we gon' dance till the morning come. Like the spit, take a rip, we gon' dance till the morning come. Said I'm ready, got my income coming steady. My pockets on swole, my bag is feeling heavy. When I get my dough, my paper.
Polynesian women? We make the world go round.
We taking over this entire block. One love, worldwide.
All right, let's go. That right there is the trailer for the Polynesian-American Feature Film, SOSEFINA. And joining us today is the crew behind the SOSEFINA movie, ManuScript Films. Welcome, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Unfortunately, we are one half of IndieFaith today, as my co-host is sadly down with COVID at the moment. So I'm sure she's tuning in right now. So sending her lots of love and pray she gets better soon.
Yeah.
For any of our viewers and listeners that have just tuned into IndieFaith Podcast for the first time, hey, Lee.
Hello. Hi.
How are you?
I'm okay.
So, for any of our viewers and listeners that have just tuned in for the first time in IndieFaith Podcast, just a little bit of an introduction. So our vision for this platform is to encourage and uplift our Pacifica people, and especially our youth, to break all the stigma and stereotypes that we've been labeled with. Change that generational mindset that we are only limited in the Western world. And to advise our people not to be afraid to go against the grain in reaching for the stars. And doing just that and probably more are my guests today. And I'm so honored and privileged and excited to have this opportunity and platform to share their story. So without further ado, we have Hinano Tanielu, who's the director of SOSEFINA. We have Namuali'i Tofa, who's the composer, screenwriter. And John Fell, who's the actor who plays Don Sulu in SOSEFINA. Is that Don Sulu?
Yes. Oh, frozen.
Key members of ManuScript Films, so Manu and Lenny Tanielu, who Manu is the scriptwriter for SOSEFINA, and Lenny is the executive producer and scriptwriter also. So shout out to Manu and Lenny. All right, guys, how is the weather over there in Utah?
It's nice.
The weather's great. It gets cold and hot.
That's the same here. It is the same here. Like 1 minute it's really hot, and then next minute it's like flooding here in Sydney.
We don't mind a flooding. We need the rain.
Yeah.
Sometimes we need to.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, just not too much, but
Yeah.
So I just wanted to start off with a bit of background about the company. So it was originally a record label company, the ManuScript Island Records.
Yeah.
What stemmed the transition to ManuScript Films?
Lee, do you want to talk about that one?
Yeah, sure. We started off before we got into the film game. We started doing music, and it was ManuScript Island Records, and our our modern thing, our thing was to cater to the Polynesians, the young Polynesians, and we were, I was a producer, and Manu was the, the CEO of the company, and Lenny as well, and we just had, various artists, and we just did some music back then, and years down the line, and now we transitioned to doing the films because we just felt like there was something else that we, continue on, because we had to shut down the studio, and it was not going anywhere, and I was heartbroken. We were just trying to figure out, with no money, and it was complicated, and life is crazy sometimes. Sometimes you have to make the best decisions, to shut down the studio for what's best for everybody. And Manu did he had to, and he had to take care of the family, and so as well as Nano. Nano was also part of it. She was, with the label too as well. She was she was the boss. Sorry, Manu. But it was an incredible team, and we had some good years and all that. But now that we're doing films, it's even getting better. So we as a team, we struggled, and sometimes we wouldn't eat, and and sometimes we have no anything. You know what I mean? It's just try to figure things out. It's like, what can we do? So yeah.
And I think a lot of it too is there's just so many stories that we have that go untold, that and a lot of stories that are true that we've gone through, and I just think it's, and Manu too, and the rest of the team, that stories need to be told and shared, especially because we have kids and we have youth that look up to us, and to help them in their process. Like for us, when we were younger, we really didn't have anybody to talk to or turn to when we were going through things. So we kind of felt like we were going through things alone. And so that our kids wouldn't feel like that, we thought, why don't we share our stories and start sharing other people's stories that are kind of hard to talk about, and on a bigger platform, on a movie screen, so everybody can see it and learn from it. And and I just think that it was a good transition to go from music to film.
100%. Yeah,
stories are so powerful to share. So,
and it's so ingrained in our culture as well. Storytelling. And was filmmaking a passion for you guys? Have you always sort of looked at that in the future, but then just made the move as soon as after Island Records?
Go ahead.
Most definitely. It's it felt really good when we first got into it. We were talking about it. It's like, because me and Manu, we were always talking about doing films, as well as Lenny. And sure enough, that came the day. Is like, you know what? Let's try this. And Manu's like, what do you think about getting into films? Let's give it a try. So why not? It's like, what we got to lose? Give it a try. So we love movies. We love TV shows. So. And we just
they always dream big, man. I think for the boys just think big, they dream big, and I'm just kind of there like, sure, we'll see where that goes. But not that I ever doubt them. It's just they really do dream big, and that's what I admire about them, is that they will talk about it and they'll do it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I jumped on with after they started talking, because they're like kids with toys, new toys. They'll get excited and they start planning it, and I'm like, but no, I'm really glad that I jumped on to help out. It's a great family thing to do together. It really did bring us closer to each other. And and Li'i's family, Li'i pretty much lives with us, so one big happy thing. Right, Li'i?
Here and there we kind of here and there we kind of bump heads, but what can I do? She's gonna beat me up.
That family.
Right.
And
you just gotta go along with it.
And John, is this your first acting gig, or have you had experience in acting? John?
Oh, sorry, guys. Well, you know what? Can I tell you a story?
Yeah, of course.
I was looking for a part-time. I'm a trucker for a lot of years. And I wanted a second job, so I was looking for a part-time job. Then they sent me to this agency where, where you have to sign up for being an actor, talent, or modeling. Things. I'm like, I'm not looking for this kind of stuff. I'm looking for a part-time other than this. And you know what? At the end of that day, I signed up with them, and I'm like, you know what? I've always wanted to be an actor when I was a kid, so might as well. I'll give it a try. And went to school for 4 months. Started back in 2014. So ever since then, I've been doing film here and there, local film, or just play roles in different occasion, or just take every opportunity that I get to gain an experience as an actor. I write too sometimes. When I have anxiety, I write a lot, But I've been doing this acting for quite some time. We're still new at it, still learning every day. Just love being a part of this, especially with working with ManuScript Film production. Right after I filmed with a different company here in Salt Lake back in 2018. Manu texted me while I was working at my trucking job, and he was like, "Hey, you want to play this part?" Because the whole reason why I wasn't a part of the casting crew.
Okay.
I saw the post, and it was like a couple of days after they promoted the casting, and I was like, man, I just missed out. And so I just commented on it. I'm like, maybe next time, but I was really interested in become a mob boss. You know what I mean? But then, all right, well, so I gave it some time, and I was like, maybe they'll check me back, but I really want to like take an opportunity to be a part of this film. So a couple weeks after that, I get my vacation. My boss wasn't going to give it to me, and I said, man, I gotta find something to do. And then Manu texted me. He said, hey, do you want to play this part? Because I know you're gonna love this part, and I've seen you wear nice suits with hats, and I was like, just give it to me, I'll take it. I'll take part of this film. And he was like, you want to play Don Sulu? He's the mob boss, and I'm giving you a couple weeks to read the line, memorize the line, and everything. And made my mind I was going to quit my job and follow my dreams.
Yeah, that's
So being a part of ManuScript production, man, it's been a blessing to work with Manu and Nano and Li'i and everybody, Lenny. And I don't know, this is a great blessing for me. But still, we still have to be humble and work hard, because being an actor, you have to become an actor. There's so much responsibility into it. I hope I'm not taking more time, but you are what you are, but you gotta work hard. You gotta push hard. You have to find but the main thing is you have to portray your character. You can't portray yourself, on the set. Otherwise, you won't get it right. You have the responsibility to do research on different portrayal of the actor you're acting, otherwise it won't. You have to memorize monologue, you have to memorize everything. But it is a blessing to be a part of this. So that's something short I want to say.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for sharing your story. And I love how you know, highlighted that there is a lot of hard work. I think a lot of people sort of underestimate, you know, acting, and they think they can just get in and just play the part, but it's a lot of research into the character and being that character, and also, you know, portraying it, you know, the right way, or the way that, you know, the story sort of laid out that character. But yeah, it's like awesome work, and congratulations on the role.
Thank you.
So I really wanted to highlight this, but you guys started without any experience, and like all the skills you needed was self-taught. What was that like? Because when I read it, I was just blown away, because a lot of us sort of, we find that like we feel we have to go to school for how many years and learn the skills, and then, you know, try and get our foot in the door in the industry, and then yeah, it takes a long time, and I think that's another reason why a lot of our people just sort of give up on our dreams, because they think it's just this long process. But you guys taught yourselves on how to do filmmaking, and that's just so inspirational. So what was that like?
Hard. So we were banking off of Google and YouTube and learning off of that. We wouldn't recommend that though. Like if you have a chance, definitely go to school for it, to learn all the technical stuff, because we don't know the technical terms. We just know what we learned from the internet. And I think the best school for us was being on set and actually going through it. And we had an amazing crew with us that kind of walked us through some things too.
Oh,
an
awesome.
amazing cinematographer, Roger Artola. He's with Art LA Film. And so as we were going, you know, and we're just going off of whatever experience that we had in our personal lives. Like for me, I was a manager for so long, and a performer on stage for my whole life. So it was like, okay, I can do this. I can lead people. But, you know, you learn from the internet too. It's like, it's more than just leading people. Like you really have to know what you're doing. And the cinematographer really helped us out with that. But we would suggest definitely go that route. Yeah, for sure. But I mean, we're still now, and we had to learn the pre-production, the post, and or production and post-production. We learned how to do all of that stuff just so that we could do it ourselves.
Yeah.
Everything is it's kind of pricey to hire people. And we're really limited on funds. So we learned everything ourselves and did it. So this is our baby. SOSEFINA's our baby. It's watching it is a little bit emotional for us. Like, man, we went completely broke over filming this, and like used all our resources, and we did the best we could with learning what we could, and using the people around us, and having an amazing cast and crew that also put their all their effort into it as well. It was definitely a team effort, and yeah, super proud of it, and still learning to this day.
That's amazing. You have done so well. What inspired the story of SOSEFINA?
Oh, my favorite part. I'm just kidding.
She can tell you that one.
It's based off of an experience my husband had back in high school, and yeah. So that's why it's my favorite story to tell. Not really, but so when he was in high school, he would ditch and he went to a gentleman's club with his cousins. And you don't go to a club and expect to see a Polynesian entertainer, but when they got there, that's what they saw. And so it's kind of, I'm sure it was a shock for her to see them as well. Yeah, it's like, oh no, probably my cousins or whatever. But so they made that exchange. She came down and shared her story with them, and that's what inspired the story, was her story and his experience. And so of course there was more added to it just to make it enough for the big screen, but yeah, it was off of his high school ditching experience.
I'm sure you've been asked this like a million times, but just want to touch on the taboo aspect of the film, as I'm sure many of our people probably just saw the trailer and, you know, they seen a stripper and already, you know, turned into, how do I put it, the OG cancel culture.
Yeah.
What were the feedback or criticism you faced when you had to pitch the SOSEFINA story? Oh, John keeps dropping out.
It's that Utah internet. So
too cold up there.
Yeah, it's too. We did get a lot of backlash, but I do want to point out we did get a lot of support as well. A lot of people that and people go through things, and it's it's not typical, but it happens, and so we did get a lot of support on that end. Was a lot of stories to tell. How could you tell?
Yeah.
And kind of glamorize the stripper life, and that's what we would get as a whole. Like that, this is the story that we would tell as Polynesians, as family people, and then I myself would get, how could I do it as a female, as a mother, as a wife, as a Polynesian? And so we did get some hate, and at first it bothered me because I'm like, these people don't understand. How could they be so quick to judge? But I was quick to judge too, so I had to step back and remember how I felt when I first heard the story. And I misunderstood the whole thing from the beginning. I didn't want to hear it when he tried to present it to me to be a part of the film, to be a director. He tried to explain it over and over, and I was just not, because why would I want to hear about a stripper story that my husband wants to tell me, And so I had to step back and remember how I felt when I first heard that story. And so now it's not so much like being quick to respond to emails or these messages or even the comments that we get. It's just like, just have patience and let them see for themselves how it's going to happen. We don't glamorize the stripper life at all. That's not the point of the film. The point of the film is SOSEFINA and her struggles and what she goes through and her choices that she makes and the consequences of her choices. So there's more to the story than just the stripping. And just to point out, we don't have nudity in the film. I think the worst part of the film, I would say, is maybe some of the dancing. And just a few cuss words here and there. But other than that, it's just overall the whole story is what people should be looking out for.
And Lee and John, did you guys face any of that criticism? Because I know for Hinano as well, as a Polynesian woman, like you would have had a lot of that pressure. I know he's dropped off.
I mean, like Nano was saying, we did get a lot of people criticizing us for doing this, and like, so what? I mean, we're just getting into the game, and it's like this is our first time, and we're hearing all these people from left to right and say, this is bad, this is wrong, it's just like, this is not good for our culture. It's like, well, it's nothing like that. Like what we're talking about, it's like that's not the focus here. The focus is we want to throw some messages out there in the lessons. And it's a taboo thing, and there's a lot of people facing these kind of problems every day. It's happening now. So this is one of those things that we took the risk and the chance to do it, because if we're not going to share our Polynesian stories, then who else? We're not afraid of doing that. We all have that fear in us, to doing it, because it's, remember, especially in a Samoan culture, your name is everything. They look at that, it's very valuable. So when they look at that and they see us doing films like this, like, it's like, this is so wrong, and it's not right doing it. And it's a thing where you're always going to get it. You're always going to get people giving you bad feedbacks, so we're always prepared for it. So now I'm learning and understanding from people, so it's okay. They can say all this stuff what they want, and we just kind of take that negative energy and negative comments and just flip it to me, is that saying, make it a positive and just keep it going. Is it, we're not here to to do that, because let's if you really want to get, technical within complicated, let's see what your family goes on. What goes on in your family, because
100%.
it goes on it goes on with my family and friends.
Yeah.
So this is something, people are dealing with these issues every day. That, these things happen and it's not really talked about, so yeah. I think this is a great thing that we're doing, and we want to share it to the rest of the world and to our fellow Polynesians, especially them.
And I think to piggyback off is that a lot of stories go untold because people are scared to ruin their family names, and that's kind of been ingrained in us as well growing up. Is you don't do anything to ruin the family name, and so everybody makes mistakes. I don't know any families that don't have that, at least somebody in their family that makes mistakes, but we're scared to tell or share that or go to anybody for advice because in fear of making your whole family look bad.
Yeah.
And so I mean, there's a lot of things that are swept under the rug. Just and I hope that people are gonna be brave enough to share their stories one day. And I think we're at the point of our lives where I just feel too old to keep hiding these stories. I don't want to die with my stories, and I want my kids to be able to feel comfortable enough to know that, okay, I do make mistakes. Let me be brave enough to share my stories or get help. So that's my hope, and that's what I pray for from everybody, is just find to or be brave enough to speak up about it so people can heal from it and you can heal from it.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. That's right.
I agree. I mean, when I read the script and everything, man, I was really touched. I mean, because this kind of story, it makes me emotional because I can relate to it. Don Sulu Don Sulu can cry too, so it's okay. But I read the story. I read a couple times, and I keep thinking of how I grew up, back home, and I've seen a lot of family go through the same stories, but the problem is they're too afraid to share that. And I had a childhood trauma too, and it caused me a lot of depression, anxiety, and it's and I had the same feeling, like I say nothing because of the family name, and it took me a lot of years to get over it, but reading on the story, Nano stories, man, it makes me want to be a part of it. Like everything that we all gone through in life, this story will tell it by itself. These stories of SOSEFINA will just tell the whole world about it. We can all consolidate all these stories into one story, and to watch this movie, it'll tell it all. There's so many people are going through the same thing, even today, so many. And I hope everyone will take a minute to watch this and feel the message and able to relate to it. And all my prayers to all those people who are listening or will be listening to our podcast will take it in consideration to watch it and to take it farther than it is. And I don't know. I'm just feel good, just feeling good about this. This whole week at work, I didn't want to go to work. I'm excited for this coming up next month for premiere, and I can't wait to see the faces of people who supported us and believe in us.
Yeah. I mean, there is definitely a deeper meaning in this film, and that's what captured me when I saw the trailer. And I just wanted to sort of share that if you don't just take it at face value to see strippers and then get put off by it. There's just in our everyday life, we all have outlets that we sort of lean to when we're struggling. And unfortunately for our Pacifica men, they turn to gangs, and for some reason that's a lot more acceptable to have films about that as well. But it's okay to sort of for them to portray our Pacifica men who are suffering, and they need to drug dealing and all that. But then when it's a woman, a Polynesian woman who has her own outlet, and it just happens to be in this film like a stripper, which is a reality. It's real. Even these days we have our young Pacifica people, both male and female, who have OnlyFans pages as well. There's different outlets because of our low socioeconomic status as well. Our young ones are turning to these for that quick cash, or just something to get away from the trauma that they're going through. So I'm so excited for this movie, and I'm excited for the story as a whole, and not just what you see in what you don't like in the trailer. So I really encourage our audience to when you see it, when it's out, go and see it. I'm so looking forward to it.
There's something that I wanted to point out. You mentioned, and it just reminded me. We had a conversation, and we've mentioned it a few times, but just wanted to point out again that we as Polynesians, and just everybody, watches movies that have there's that one with Jennifer Lopez and Cardi B, Hustlers.
Oh, yeah.
So we would pay to go watch that movie, and we wouldn't shame them for that.
Yeah.
But because it's a movie about a Polynesian stripper, then we get shamed for kind of being hypocrites about it. It's like, if you're going to support one culture, why is it okay for them but not for us?
Yeah.
And but in our case, it's not even, we're not highlighting the stripper life. So just kind of be equal with that. Before you cast your stone, come and see what it's about first.
Yeah.
And but
100%.
Before, you gotta know that person first, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about that, because our people are so into movies for sure. And exactly what Nano says. When they watch these celebrities and big names, because it's on 24/7 every day, even on the internet, and our people are looking at it, so it's okay for them to do it because it's, they're famous and all that, but it's like that's no different than what we're doing. You know what I mean? But this is a Polynesian story. That's the difference. So why are we doing that? It's like, we have to share our stories, and we want to be part of that world too.
Yeah.
So we have a lot. We got a lot of great storytellers out there, and it's it's not just Hollywood. I mean, that's the thing about that. Everybody glamorizes that. It's like, it's okay for J-Lo to show half of her butt, and everybody else doing this, and even with the movies like Magic Mike and all that, and all that, it's men and women. So it's okay to watch all this, and our people are so so wrong for that, and it's it's like, oh, only these people can do it, and you guys can't because you guys are not them. And it's like, well, we're gonna do our own film then. We're gonna share our Polynesian stories, because this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna cater to them and show them that what we want to share all these stories from. It's going to be good and bad.
Yeah.
But there's also, we want them to understand what the stories is coming from. We want to see eye to eye to everybody. That this is a thing too. Is the world is always going to change. So especially with like you said about our young Polynesians having OnlyFans, and it's a thing now that everybody's changing and doing what they do. So why are we so focused on judging them? We don't know their circumstances. We don't know the upbringing. We don't know any of these things from them. So I can't judge on somebody's life and issues for what they go through. So I think it's a waste of doing that, to be putting a negative comments on these people, because they have a life too as well. So some enough to figure it out. Sometimes they just that's the only one thing they got to do. So whatever it is, making money, it's like they say, I got to do this because I need to survive from my kids or whatever it may case be. So in that sense, it's just I think it's okay. What I mean? It is okay for them to go through all this, because let them figure out what the outcome is going to be. Is it going to be good or bad for them? But we just hopefully that it works out for everyone. So yeah.
All right, that was emotional.
Sorry,
it hits deep, like it really does, and that's the beauty of these platforms, the film platforms, anything where we can sort of make it comfortable for our people to speak up and share their stories, and I'm all for it, and I love it, and I love where we're sort of as a community where we're transitioning to. So I think our generation is bringing a lot of all this trauma and everything to the light, and I think it's healing for us all as a people, and we can only sort of support each other and bring us all up. So just switching to the style of the film, so like New Zealand and Australian film, like Polynesian films, there's a certain style and like quality about it that you kind of, when you watch it, it's a New Zealand film. Is there a difference with the Polynesian-American film that you guys are producing?
A difference between Polynesian-American and Polynesian films there. So from while we were in New Zealand, by the way, New Zealand, they gave us so much love. There was hate, but it wasn't from a lot of people. And one of the things that was sent to us through a message was from somebody from New Zealand, and they said, stick to what we're known for, which is comedy.
Oh.
And I thought, that's interesting, because I know that there's some, like Once We're Warriors, that wasn't comedy. That was drama, and that was real life. People do go through that. And then there's a filmmaker that I follow and I adore. Her name is Hinano Harris. She does things that are out of the box as well. And, I'm sure she gets the same hate from people and for just being different. But I don't see too much of a difference. They say to be more like them, do comedy, but there's not only comedy in New Zealand that I found.
Yeah.
And but to us, we look up to the filmmakers in New Zealand, like 100%. We look up to them. And that's why we went to New Zealand in the first place, was because for us, that's our Hollywood. That's the motherland of Polynesian films. And we knew that it had to be done there. Like, we had to go there for the premiere. We're just sad we didn't get to premiere it there, but it is what it is. Yeah.
So you guys have a pretty awesome casting. Like, you have Diamond Langi, who is well known here as Miss Universe New Zealand. And then you have is it Lehigh?
Lehigh, yep.
Who's starring in the next Taika Waititi film, Next Girl Wins. And of course, yours truly, John Fowle, and many other actors. What influenced the decision to keep it all polycast and crew?
Oh, that's been a dream of ours, to work with all polycast and crew, and we try to keep it that way. We knew for sure the cast had to be Polynesian. The crew, we wanted to, just some things didn't work out. We're blessed to have Roger jump on as their cinematographer, and we wanted to create opportunities for our people, because I don't feel like we get that opportunity so much in Hollywood. And if we do, if there's that small window of an opportunity for Polynesians, all the Polynesians will go for it. So the chances of getting that is really slim.
Yeah.
So we just figured, let's try this. Let's try to create this opportunity for our people and ourselves a chance, and especially the Polynesians that don't really have that opportunity in Hollywood, that kind of go unnoticed and unseen. And so that's what we first-time actors and some social media influencers to jump on, and we were blessed to have Diamond. With Diamond, that was kind of a risk. My husband reached out to her, and we were lucky that she was interested and got back to us. So yeah, she was, and Lehigh, the same thing. Everybody, we reached out to them, and then we put out a casting call, and yeah, it was nice to see the amount of people that wanted to be a part of it and that jumped on and helped out. Yeah.
So was that like, was it
we weren't just actor though. We were movers, we were decorators.
John.
Yeah, you know what?
Secrets.
Everybody that was on the set, yeah. And all the actors, they helped as well. After their scene, I can see John and I see, Lehigh and everybody else like grabbing stuff and moving stuff. I'm like you guys just chill. What the heck? But just like everybody's helping each other. So that's why I'm grateful for them. And they didn't have to, but just out of the love that they have. Us some ones are like that anyways. It's like there's nobody gonna say no. It's like, and if they do, it's like, all right, you get out of here. You're not gonna be in the cast anymore. But no, jokes aside, is that everybody and point out to what Nana was saying. Yeah, this cast members is they each individually they have the amazing talent, and that's one of the reasons why we wanted all cast, all polycast. That's one thing for sure. It's like, we want to see our people on the screen. Is like, how are we gonna do that? We just get all the polycasts. Just let's look it up and see who's doing stuff, and let's hit them up. And it's still refreshing to me to see all these upcoming actors, and they're sharing their stories, and they're also trying to get into the film game. And looking at these guys when we were on the set, these guys were amazing. I was like, these guys are actually doing the dialogues and acting it out. This is amazing. You don't see that.
Yeah.
And I was so happy. Like when we see them doing it, it brings more, goodness of it. And you just know that it's going to work out.
Yeah.
So with all these polycasts, it was amazing to experience with them. After they do their scene, and they just go and just grab stuff and move on to the next location, and then we just bring the stuff and help out the camera crews, and and we all ate together. It was a thing that we always talked about. We started off as strangers. Nobody didn't really know nobody, and then towards the end, of that 2 weeks of shooting, we all became closer. And just every day, just going through the script and just hanging out and just having conversations with them, and just being with them, because it's one of those things that I experience a lot of these individually on great heart and their talents, and I just I can see them flourishing so many things in life, so I see them continue, especially our people. We have a lot of talent, from sports to music and entertainment, so it's one of those things. They're all going to be great. This is a great thing that we're doing, so it's part of the journey, and everybody else is doing what they love to do, and that's what we want to see. We've seen the passion in them, when they were on the set. It's just they blew everybody out of the way and blew my mind. Just like, it's just amazing. So the directors, the writers, the actors, and the camera crews, and just to see that vividly just on set, that's amazing. So and we're there's going to be more, so there will be more, and there'll be a lot of Polynesians part of the scripts as well. We want to see more of that, so yeah,
That's
so big ups to them.
It's so amazing. If you're looking for an Australian actress,
oh yeah, for sure.
So without giving anything away, what was there a scene or a moment in the filmmaking process that has touched you personally?
Yeah. Without giving it away. Well, we always say this. It'll definitely make you cry. I can give you that.
Yeah, I'm crying already. I haven't seen the movie.
There's a few the father daughter scene that's emotional. That's really emotional. Because it's just like so the actor that played SOSEFINA's dad, his name is Chris Mawinatu, and he actually passed away just recently.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. And so he was one of our first time actors, and found him at a dance, at a Polynesian dance. Like, he was at a homecoming, and I just saw him, and I was like, we had a hard time looking for a dad. And I walked in the room, and I was talking to my husband on the phone, and I was like, I think I found the father. I think I found her dad. And I went up to him, and I was so nervous because he was with his wife, and some Polynesian women, you just never know. And so, but I asked him if he would be a part of it. He jumped on. He's like, I've never acted. I'm like, that's okay. And then she said, his wife was like, I'm warning you, he's really emotional. Like, he'll cry. I'm like, perfect. When he came to set, he was amazing. He said the lines and he cried when he was supposed to, not meaning to cry. He was just an emotional person. And so all those scenes, just looking back at it, is just, yeah. I mean, we've watched it a few times after he passed, and, every time cried.
Yeah.
Because it's just what he's, that's how he really is. Yeah, so all the emotion and the feelings through just watch and know that this is how he really is with his daughter, and it's emotional.
Oh gosh, I think I better pack
So I think during my filming down there for like the whole week, when I came home and people see the trailer, and I had a few friends who asked me, like, I have a daughter, she's 12, and a couple of my friends asked, so how is filming is going to affect your daughter? I said, I don't think we have a problem with me and my daughter. We are close. And as far as me growing up, a lot of us grew up in Samoa, and a lot of things Samoan parents don't communicate very well to their kids.
Yep.
What I'm saying is, there are some things you can talk to the kids about, open-minded. So, that's how our folks were to us. They don't talk to us like open up, open heart, open-minded, to kind of share some things that they know, share to the kids, so we be aware of it. So, like, unlike me and my daughter, we're so close, and I tell her things that, as adults, things that we go through, that and she'll learn from it. So that way she won't feel uncomfortable. If she's down or if she have anxiety, she'll always talk to me about it, and I like that, and we kind of interact that way,
Yeah.
And so I told my friends, you don't have to worry about that part, because I know me and my daughter are close. That really, really close. We communicate a lot, and I mean, I think that's what parents should do to the kids, is to have that open-minded to communicate, and just you don't always have to hide things from your kids. Let them know, because one way or the other, they're gonna grow up and have,
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Yeah, 100%. That's so true. And like, I have a close relationship with my dad as well, and I'm lucky enough to be able to, like, there are certain things that he's a bit, I don't want to know, but I'm lucky enough to have a family that I can speak to and open up to, and really encourage a lot of our youth to reach out to somebody if you can't reach out to your parents. So lastly, Oh, actually, when is it? When or where can us in Australia or New Zealand see this movie?
So we're gonna release
Oh.
that on our social media platforms. We're releasing May here in Utah. So we have 2 showings, in-person showings, and then a few weeks after that, we'll be releasing it for the world to see.
Oh, awesome! I can't wait. And lastly, what is the best advice you received? Lastly, what is the best advice you've received in your journey that you could share to help future generations?
I think there's been a few. I know one that I've heard is stay true to yourself. Don't for us, it's like we were so worried about sharing certain things in fear of the backlash, but you can't sugarcoat things all the time. Things need to be shared the way they are. You can actually learn from them. And so that people feel comfortable knowing, okay, they've gone through it. I've gone through it I've gone through it and they've gone through it. So, it's not that bad, but people will feel a little bit more comfortable kind of thing. I'm not sure what else.
That's okay. Yeah, I can imagine.
I have something, for the upcoming writers and filmmakers and so on and so on. I think a good advice for these young Polynesians, if they're getting into it, there's nothing wrong, like, again, going to school and all that and learn the trade and all that. You want to learn how to write scripts, go for it. Or you want to learn how to film, go ahead. Directors or whatever. I think we want to encourage them even more to get out there. And here's the thing. Now, if you're so confident and you have scripts and you want to take that risk and go up to The Rock or go up to anybody, do it. I encourage all of them, because anything can happen. If you have some ideas or you got multiple ideas and scripts, why not just take the chance and the risk? You never know. So I think we want to encourage them even more to do that. And could I add this too as well? So
yeah,
a while back, so this is what I'm saying. It relates to the writers, the script writers. So almost at every meeting that we go to, when we have meetings, we carry our duffel bag of scripts. So it's just not one or two. We got multiple, like a big old duffel bag. So it's like when we go places, people think that it's something in there, like drugs or guns. And so we're like, no, it's like, hey man. So it's just me and Manu. We just go in meetings. It's like, hey, let's hurry up and make this real quick, because I think people are looking at us, strange. They think we're gonna, do something here. But no, we had so many experiences with that, and we would go to different meetings and carry that duffel bag. And one of the meetings that we went to was Almighty Paul. He recently just passed as well, and he's Tongan and entrepreneur, and he was he was big in the music industry with all various stars like Nelly and Wu-Tang and so on, Biggie Smalls even. So he's been in the industry for so many years, and we carry that duffel bag and we talked to him and say, look, we're trying to get this out there, and we want to share some more stories. And we met up at the studio, and he's like, let's see what you got. And it's like he saw the duffel bag and said, you guys ain't playing. It's like, you guys mean business. And we shared that with him, and he believed that we're the next ones coming out there and be the next pioneer, so on, so on. And I'm not trying to brag about it. I'm just sharing my stories of the experiences. So that one. So to add on to the script writers and filmmakers and etc. Go ahead and do it. I encourage everybody, all the young Polynesians, go and do it. You can do it. I mean, everybody can do it. You know, men and women. You know, don't count out the women because they can write. There's a lot of them out there that are directors too, and writers and actors. You know, so they're also trying to get into the game as well. So we encourage all of them, our fellow Polynesians, to do well and get out there to show, you know, their projections on the screen. So yeah.
And I think something that we've experienced personally is you'll get further in the career and you'll get more out of it if you're kind to people. Treat people with kindness. Treat people equally. Don't put yourself above anybody else. I think kindness goes a long way.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially in this day and age.
Yeah. Yep, definitely for sure.
Oh yeah, you have to. Go ahead. I'm sorry about that.
Oh no, that's okay. What did you want to share? Sorry, Lee.
No, I was just saying that's also part of that. You know, to you know, when you meet people, you want to, you know, be nice and, you know, just be that a humble person that's, you know, that we always say, you know. So it's just like if you come correct with everybody, you know, they see that it's more appealing to them. So when they see filmmakers, it's like, oh, you know, most of the time you hear filmmakers are a-holes, you know. There's like, no, man, I know my story. I know this. I know what I'm doing. You know, they don't know this version, this and that. You know, we move on to something else. You don't want to have that attitude. You want to have a good, positive attitude with people, you know, because that's how you build you know, a foundation of networks. You know, you will want to be able to network with people out there, you know. So we're not that type of you know, that type of people to have the bad attitude and go on and say we know everything, we know this and that. We want to come in as, you know, ourselves and be peaceful and then see what we can do. We can work something out, you know. Let's connect. Let's figure out what we can do and, you know, try to get this film game going, you know, because it's not only just us. There's everybody else out there. There's probably these in the States too, you know, that we would love to work with. You know what I mean? And there's also where you're at too in Australia. We would love to work with them as well.
Yeah.
New Zealand and so on, even Samoa. Come on now, Samoa. They have so many DVDs of them. You know, they have the collections of them. You know, the old people are into acting too. So I'm like, what's this? And they said it's a bad quality. Yeah, but still, I like this. It's like everybody's doing stuff. So you know, they have no fear doing it, being on the camera. You know, so I applaud them too as well, getting into, you know, in the film game. You know, so that's, I think it's amazing too. You know, so everybody has talent. Just go ahead and share. Don't be scared. And again, you know, be peaceful and, you know, come up with a positive, great attitude, and it'll be, you know, be great for you too as well. It'll be more better for you to connect with people. And that's what I think would be more appealing to them. So, yeah.
Thank you for that. And John, yeah.
I want to say something before this phone shut me up because they keep blank out. You know, I don't know why. But I'm not a filmmaker, but I have, you know, little script here and there. But you know, my advice to because yesterday, actually last night, a few Samoan kid from you know, from my church, from my ward, called me up and say, "Hey, I want to be an actor, and I want to follow your footsteps because I've noticed you always go online, you know, doing films and stuff, and we wanted to know how you know which road we should go to, you know, to become one." And, you know, I kind of share with them some experience, but just want to shout out there to any Polynesian who believe in their dreams. You gotta follow your dreams, you know. And I also second agree with Hinano, be yourself. Always be yourself all the time, 100%. You gotta be real. But also you have to be real serious. I mean, if you're serious about being an actor, you gotta put in a lot of work. sacrifice your time. And the good thing about being an actor is you can always work your film around your job. So if you guys work, don't worry about your work. You know, they'll always work around your schedule. Anyways, be humble. You gotta be humble to anything you do, whether it's your dream, whether it's your talent. You always have to be humble. You know, and I was always grateful for being who you are and try to do the best you can to reach your goal or your dreams. You know, there's always responsibilities come with it. So you have to be responsible for a lot of things. It's a beautiful thing. It's the best therapy I ever been joining since a few years ago. Still knew it. We all still knew it. I have a cousin who is already in there. Sam Before, I don't know if you know him. He has done a lot of film from New Zealand, Australia, and I one time I said, "Cuz, what's your best advice for us new actors?" He said, "You got to know your craft. You have to learn your craft. You have to have skills. You have to be honest on your resume, and you have to work hard. And you cannot expect to come from scratch to the top. You know." And so, I always take that as a good advice to become better at what I do. And I'm still a rookie.
Yeah,
So, but that's my advice to any Polynesian out there. Don't be afraid to look at the camera. Don't be afraid to look at people. That my dad's advice is don't be scared to look at people. And, I appreciate you for the time. Though.
Thank you so much. And I'm sure we'll all be looking up to all of you guys. You guys are such an inspiration, and like I really cannot wait for this film. Thank you so much for joining me today. It truly is an honor and a privilege to have this opportunity to share your story. All the best in everything you do. Where can everyone follow you, and do you have anyone you want to shout out to?
So you can follow us all the social media platforms under our ManuScript Films. And shout outs. We do have some sponsors that we want to give some love to: RTC Security, Longa Business Network, Home Pathway, New Zealand, the Filoa family, Tefana Otera, Hiti Otera here in St. George, and then all our family and friends that in our journey and supporting us this whole time. Yeah.
Lee.
Yeah. Let me see if we give a shout out. If I want to give somebody a shout out, let me see.
Oh my gosh.
I just want to give a shout outs to all the cast members and everybody that's in the film game. Everybody that's who's up. With the polys, everybody. I'll just give a shout out to them and my family. Love them so much. Even though they don't love me, but it's a joke. It's a joke. But everybody around the world, Utah, everybody in Cali, Australia, New Zealand, thank you for showing us love, and we give a shout outs to all of them for for the likes and the shares and great feedback from them. Appreciate them jumping onto our social media and be part of our journey, this SOSEFINA movie that's coming out. And I'm so happy and pleased and humble at the same time to release this. And we're ready to share, to the rest of the world. And I hope our polys will, enjoy this film. And shout outs to everybody. Thank you.
And John, you have anyone you want to shout out to?
I just want to shout out to ManuScript Film Production for this great opportunity to work with them, and That's including you, Lee, everybody else, you know. And shout out to all the casting and actors and extras and families who was part of this film. I think this is going to be an absolutely phenomenal film for everybody to come see. You know, just try not to judge before you watch it, because you might find something very important in that film and able to relate to people who are dealing with the same experience. Other than that, thank you for the opportunity. Looking forward to see y'all.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, IndieFaith Podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah. Shout outs to you. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I see you guys. You guys are doing your thing. I see.
Thank you. Yeah, no, 100%. Like I said, we are so inspired by you, and this film is going to be big, and like we are so looking forward to it. Thank you to all our viewers and that have tuned in or will be listening to. I leave you all with this. So no matter the struggle that you're facing, the hardships, the adversities, please know that you are not alone. And for the rest of us, let's stop putting our own people down. This is our time. This is time for Pacifica people to come up in the world, and we can only do that by supporting each other and lifting each other up. Guys, stay on the lookout for a movie. And like I said, let's support each other. Stay safe and keep well, and I'll see you all in the next episode.